Hi everyone! If you're here, I'm assuming you have ADHD or you think you might. You're probably a woman or you have female hormones, you were late diagnosed as an adult, and you're looking for ways to make your life a little bit easier. If so, then I think you're in the right place. I am going to use this channel to offer some of my own coping strategies, tips and tricks that have worked for me over the years, my adult life, 20 years or so now. And I'd also bring you along on some of my journeys plural, there will probably be many of them, as I try to address some places where I myself am still struggling to get a hold of my ADHD symptoms. I'm currently filming in my messy office as an example of one of those areas where I could still work on some improvement, but I figured a lot of you could probably relate. My journey to diagnosis was fairly recent. About a year ago, my 7-year-old son started having some trouble at school and a little bit here at home, and in research possible reasons for some of his behavior traits, I discovered what ADHD in women looked like, or in girls, and thought, gosh, that looks awfully familiar. I hadn't realized, of course, growing up when I did in the 80s and 90s, ADHD was assumed to be a problem with hyper little boys mostly, and girls mostly got missed, especially girls who were really good in school, as I was. I didn't find any struggles really outside of school, even when I left home. My grades took a huge dip in university when suddenly I was responsible for managing my own study time and looking after myself in my apartment. I got very messy then, but it wasn't anything that felt out of the ordinary. Lots of people were messy, and I just blamed the grades dip on never having learned how to study properly in high school, because I found high school pretty easy. And then when I got out of university, I structured my life in a way that I was able to pursue my passions, and I could set my day up in a way that worked around my preferences. I didn't have to report to anyone really because I was freelance, and so I had a lot of control there to fit my life to my brain instead of having to fit my brain into someone else's life. So it was only after I had kids where I started to notice symptoms beginning to become more prominent, which of course at the time I attributed to baby brain, mommy brain. And those have continued to get worse as I've gotten older and the kids have gotten older and our lives have gotten more complicated, and I am starting to reach perimenopause and lots of other factors like that. So I'm really feeling it now, and it's important to me to try to find ways that I can still keep everything together. I have been to visit my GP, and she agreed that I likely do have ADHD, but she's not able to make an official diagnosis herself, so I would have to go see a psychologist. And unfortunately, they're not covered under our healthcare plan, so I would have to pay out of pocket, and they're pretty expensive. So I've opted not to pursue a diagnosis at this time, and unfortunately that means that I also don't have access to medication. So I am having to manage my life just on my own with different behavioral changes or tricks for addressing some of these challenges that I face. But I think that offers me the opportunity to share some of these things and help other people along the way. I am fortunate in that my symptoms are not terribly severe, and I know that for a lot of people with ADHD, they can be quite substantial, but hopefully, my hope is, what I am able to share here will be of some use to others with ADHD If your symptoms are mild, maybe it will allow you to not have to worry about medication, which can be expensive if you don't have some sort of insurance to cover it. Or if you do have medication and you're finding it still doesn't bring you all the way to managing all your symptoms completely, maybe these will be of use to you too. That's my hope anyway. I also have some areas in my life where I need to improve. Here's an example. Or eating better is another one. Tooth care, I'm sure most of us struggle with that. Memory issues, I do okay with those, but there's probably improvements I could make there. Lots of examples like that I am going to document some of my journeys, or at least it's my plan to, and you guys can see what works and doesn't, things I try. Maybe you'll get some ideas from that as well. So I invite you to join me on the channel. Subscribe if you think it sounds like something that might be helpful to you and you'd like to see what I have to offer. I am really looking forward to getting to meet some of the people here in this community. My experience with the online ADHD community, especially with women, is that they're a pretty friendly and welcoming bunch. And I'd love to be able to get to know some of you as well in that same way here on the channel. So thanks for joining me for this video. I hope you come back, check out the next one, and we'll see you in the comment section. Bye.